everyone, and welcome to my first video in my new series, which is Writing Wednesdays. From now on, every Wednesday, I'm hopefully going to post a writing-related video, and on Fridays, there will be a book-related video, and of course, on Mondays, I'll still be doing reviews on my blog. But recently on Instagram, I posted a lot about how I was doing a series Bible. I was creating a series Bible. If you don't know what that is, I'll get to it in a minute. But I was creating a series Bible for my biblical fiction series. And a lot of you guys said you would really be interested in seeing kind of my process and how I created my series Bible. And then I asked you guys if you'd be interested in seeing some free templates on my website of things like outlines and character profiles and series Bibles. And the answer was a resounding yes. So yay for that. But that is exactly what I'm going to be doing over the course of the next 3 Wednesdays. I'm going to be taking you guys through my process of how I outline, how I profile my characters, and of course how I created my series Bible. And then as I post these new videos, I'm going to be adding the new templates to the resources tab on my website at www.jennavanmourik.com. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed over there so that you're getting those notifications, and of course subscribed here so that you see all of the Writing Wednesday videos. So when I'm writing my book or working on editing or doing anything related to my series, there are 3 things that I need with me. The first one is my draft, which I had this printed out at Staples. They print out your manuscript for you. You can upload the document online. They'll add this nice plastic cover. It costs a bit, but to me, it was worth it to have the plastic cover and the backing and to protect it and have it all nice and bound so that I could really just read it, hold it in my hands, and write in it as I was editing. It was a lot easier than printing it myself. Believe me, I tried. It broke my printer. The next thing that I have, or that I need when I'm working on my series, is my character profiles. And again, for pretty much everything you're gonna see, I use project folders like this. So if you want to follow my process or kind of have the same process as me, I recommend either project folders or just stapling pieces of paper together or getting a binder with dividers to put all these different things in, because I am really a binding project folder kind of gal when it comes to this. And then of course I need my outline. I don't have that with me because my dog ate it. Thank you, Piper. I don't have my outline with me, but normally I would have an outline, and yeah, maybe I should have invested in a binder or a project folder for that too. And then of course I have my series Bible. This one's a bit chunky, he's a bit heavy, and he's got all the information for my series in it. So today I'm going to be starting with my outline. Next Wednesday I will be showing you guys my character profile sheets and how I profile my characters, and the last part in this series will be my series Bible. So what I'm going to be doing first today is taking you guys through my outline, showing you my outline, how I outline, why I choose to outline the way that I do, and then I'll put the link to the template for my outline in the description box below. So you can watch this video to kind of see how to use the template and what the template is like, and then you can download that template at my website, and the link again will be in the description below. I'm really excited about this. Can you tell? I lied. I do actually have a copy of my outline. There is an outline or a copy of my outline in my series Bible. So my outline looks like this. I use a Harvard outline, basically is what it's called. And you can pretty much make these in any Word document. I have the template on my website because it organizes it into parts and chapters. So if you want to use my outline, you can. But anyways, let's jump to the computer version of me to explain how the template works and how I made my template to you guys.
All right, everyone, welcome to part 1 of how I outline my books and my method for writing books, writing character profiles, getting to know my characters, and creating a series Bible. I am super excited to be bringing you this series. All of the templates that you see will, in fact, be available on my website for you to download under the resources tab. And hopefully these kind of mini tutorials will help you figure out either how to use my templates or how to create a template of your own to create your own method for outlining, planning, and writing your book. All right, so I use a Harvard outline, which I feel like is a pretty basic form of outlining. But I'm going to upload the template anyways, just so you can kind of get an idea of how I actually make all of this happen. So before you will see the template itself, and obviously there's a very basic title at the top that says outline. You could change this to say outline for book title. Insert a really creative book title right there. But of course, that is completely optional. You don't have to do that. But basically, if you don't know what a Harvard outline is, it looks something like this. There are Roman numerals, capital letters, numbers, non-capital letters, and as you keep hitting tab, you will get to smaller and smaller increments, which is basically a main point and a subpoint and a subpoint to that subpoint and a sub-subpoint to that subpoint, if that makes any sense. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get used to it, but this is what it looks like, and I'm just going to walk you through very quickly how to use it. There are some instructions here. I wrote some instructions in to help you guys kind of figure out what each section is for, or at least how I use that section. But I'll go ahead and read it out loud to you and explain it to you here. So you'll first notice these Roman numerals. There are 3 of them for part 1, part 2, and part 3. And that is because I use a 3-act structure when planning all of my novels, all of my works of fiction, any story I write, I use a 3-act structure. So part 1, you're going to, now this is an important step, write a 1 or 2 sentence summary of everything that should happen in part 1. You'll repeat this for part 2 and again for part 3. Now, I use 1 or 2 sentence summaries because it is the easiest way to get out what I am thinking without going in too much detail, just making sure it is a bare bones outline so that I can really put all those finer details into my actual first draft. So for instance, you might insert here, in part 1, the 2 main characters meet. When something tragic happens, they realize that it is their duty to go off to war and fight for their country. That was a very poor example, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. In part 2, you would continue on from that and explain what is going to happen in the middle of your book. For instance, your 2 main characters have just gone off to war, so perhaps they fight several battles and maybe even have a falling out or have to confront their villain, which leads them to part 3. Basically, what happens in the middle of your story? How do your characters advance from part 1, and how are they being led to part 3, the final part? That should be where everything culminates and where all the problems are resolved. So in part 3, you would do a 1 or 2 sentence summary. It can be more if you want to. I mean, you are welcome to be as detailed or as not detailed as you'd like to be. This is really up to you and what you feel like you need in your story. But here you would put in how your story ends, how all the conflict is resolved. Perhaps the best friends make up and they take down the bad guy in a very climactic battle sequence and are able to return home. That is what happens in part 3. Very, very basic. Again, you get more detailed the more in-depth you go into this outline. All right, so then we get into chapters. So you'll see that I have letters for each chapter, chapter 1, 2, and 3. I included 3 chapters per part, but you are welcome to add as many chapters as you think your story needs. Odds are your story probably needs more than 9 chapters, depending on how many words per chapter you include, how many scenes you have in each chapter. But you're going to do a 1 or 2 sentence summary for each chapter. And then moving on from that, you'll have 3 scenes. You can add scenes or take away scenes as necessary. And you will add a 1 or 2 sentence summary per scene. And basically, this is just where you write down each event that happens in that chapter. You can go into more detail about it and so on and so forth. And like it says here, you just repeat these steps for each subsequent chapter and scene, doing little 1 to 2 sentence summaries or notes of what needs to happen in each of those scenes, in each of those chapters. And for me, this is just the best way to outline. I've been outlining like this for forever. It's pretty easy to create an outline like this of your own in Word or Pages, but if you'd like to download the template, again, the link is in the description box below. And it's a completely free template for you to use if you'd rather just follow mine and not have to go through the hassle of creating one yourself. But I describe this as a bulleted list or a point-by-point outline, essentially, is all it really is. It's just all the points of your book laid out. And then what I like to do is print this out. And then when I've finished writing each scene, I get to cross it off and move on to the next one. And that is how I outline. Now, this is important. If you have an extra note you want to write, if 1 or 2 sentences wasn't enough, or if there's something specific you want to make sure gets included in that scene, maybe you were inspired with a line of dialogue and you have to make sure that this line of dialogue gets included. All you would have to do, let's just say that in scene 2, I know that I want my characters to run into a lion. For whatever reason, a lion has popped up into my story. And I want to make sure that they run into this lion and that the lion can talk for some reason, and the lion gives them a clue, which will come in handy in part 3. So then I would go and hit enter, and then I would hit tab, and that is going to create this note here. So then I would add in the information, lion appears, lion is magical and has the ability to talk. And lion imparts a piece of wisdom for the 2 main characters. They do not yet understand what it means, but remember it. So maybe that's because I want to foreshadow something that happens here. For instance, you could go down to part 3 and you have, climactic battle sequence happens. Okay? And you want to make sure when confronting the villain, the main character remembers what happened with the lion. He discovers that the lion's clue was actually a hint at how to defeat the villain. Using this clue, the main character is able to win the battle. And that's kind of how you would fill it in if you needed to. Obviously, I'm not writing a story with magic lions who can talk, but basically that's how you use this outline. It's really simple, really easy to do. You can download it. All the instructions are going to be in here, all my little tips and tricks for outlining that. Let me know if this helped you, and remember, I am going to be posting more resources and more templates and more tutorials like this for the next couple of Wednesdays. Next week, we're going to be talking about character profiles, how I get to know my characters, and what I use to write my character profiles. There will be a free template for a character profile for you to fill out for your characters. And then the following week, we're getting into my series Bible, which is the big video that you guys are all looking forward to. And that is just such a wealth of information, such a great resource, such a great template. All these templates are free and available for you. So I beg of you to use them to make your life easier. You don't have to follow my method, but again, it is just a resource there to help you, maybe even spark something in you to where you might not use my template, but you might create a template of your own based on my template. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Now back to video Jenna to close it out.
So that was the first video of how I outline my books, how I outline my novels. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you would download the template for real. That would mean so much to me to know that these resources that I'm creating are helping people out there like you to pursue your dreams like I'm pursuing mine. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media handles. The links are in the description below, but basically I'm at Jenna Van Mourik on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And pretty much anywhere, if you just Google my name, I'm gonna pop up in some way, shape, or form. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to my website, www.jennavanmourik.com, so that you always get notifications whenever I add new resources, whenever I post new blog posts, whenever I do anything like that. I want you guys to be in the loop. I will see you in my next video, which is going to be a bookish video, and then after that, I will join you again for part 2 of my Writing Wednesdays series for outlining your series. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!